Today we are going to discuss about dictatorship in Turkey. About dictatorship in Turkey, we have to remember the role of Mustafa Kemal Pasha. He was also known as Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. He was an Ottoman and Turkish army officer. He was a revolutionary statesman and writer, and he became the first president of Turkey. He is the most credited with being the founder of Republic of Turkey. Mustafa Kemal Pasha was born in 1881 in Turkey, and at that time this Salonika, that was the place of his birth, it was part of Ottoman Empire. His father was a minor official and later a timber merchant. When he was at the age of 12, he was sent to military school, and he studied his graduation in military academy in Istanbul in Turkey and graduated in 1905. He pioneered the establishment of a new country that was strong, well founded, and seemed to develop all the time. It was a great achievement since he created a young and modern state from the ruins of an empire. He joined an army as a young officer. He fought in famous Dardanelles wars. Then he became the chief commander of Turkish independence war. Fighting on many fronts, he led his forces to victory against rebels and invading armies. So this war of Dardanelles, also known as Çanakkale, Wars of Çanakkale, in 1915, when Çanakkale campaign was launched by colonizing countries, Colonel Mustafa Kemal became a national hero, and he fought against these colonized or colonial powers and defeated them. So his winning successive victories, and finally he repelled the invaders, that gave him more fame. You can see the picture of warfare. They were going to fight, and on May 1919, Mustafa Kemal Pasha landed in the Black Sea port of Samsun to start the War of Independence. In defiance of the Sultan's government, he raised a liberation army in Anatolia and convened the Congress of Erzurum and Sivas, which established the basis for the new national effort under his leadership. So on April 23, 1920, the Grand National Assembly was inaugurated. Mustafa Kemal Pasha was elected to its presidency. So he fought war from 1915 onwards. In 1919 also he was very actively participated in seaport warfare, etc., and he became famous. He was able to become a national leader, and in 1920 the Grand National Assembly was inaugurated and he was elected as President of National Assembly of Turkey. So fighting on many fronts, he led his forces to victory, and he was able to defeat rebels. He invaded armies. So following the Turkish victory at two major battles now in Western Turkey, and the Grand National Assembly conferred Mustafa Kemal Pasha the title of Commander-in-Chief with the rank of Marshal. So he became the president as well as considered as a marshal, that means commander-in-chief. In 1911, he served against Italians in Libya, and then in Balkan Wars also he participated. That was happened in 1912 to 13. So he made his military reputation repelling the Allied invasion at Dardanelles. In May 1919, he began a nationalist revolution in Turkey, organizing resistance to peace settlement imposed on Turkey by victorious allies. Remember, in 1919, Treaty of Versailles signed, and Turkey was on the side of Germany, and they faced humiliating treaty. Turkey was also lost its political economic power, and against this there was a national revolution was started by Kemal Pasha. So victory over the Greeks enabled him to secure the revision of peace settlement in the Treaty of Lausanne. So the Treaty of Lausanne was made with the Turkey by the victorious powers of First World War. Here you can see the picture of Kemal Pasha Kemal Pasha understood well that the independence of country would not be accomplished by Ottoman Sultanate. Till then Sultanates ruled. At that time military system was not very strong, but Kemal Pasha made military power very strong, or he strengthened army. So he decided to go to Antalya, and on May 1919, in the year 1919, Mustafa Kemal Pasha landed on Black Sea and to start the War of Independence. So that already we discussed. Then he invited all of his supporters to Ankara on 9th March 1920. He opened the Turkish Grand National Assembly on 23rd April 1920, which also determined the political regime of new country. So in 1921, he established a provisional government in Ankara, and the Ottoman Sultanate was formally abolished. Their power was already lost by the end of First World War. The Khalifa power, the title Khalifa, was already abolished by the British government. So the victorious powers, victorious powers defamed Turkey. So the following year, Ottoman Sultanate were abolished, and in 1923, Turkey became a secular republic with Ataturk as its president. Till then, Turkey was remained as a Muslim country, and its ruler Khalifa was considered as the political as well as religious head of all Muslims of world. But when that Caliphate title was lost, Turkey became a secular country. He established a single party regime that lasted till 1945. So from 1923 to 1945, Turkey became a secular republic with strong military power. And at the end of 1922, Turkish armies won their ultimate victory. Within a few weeks, Turkish mainland was completely liberated and armistice signed, and rule of Ottoman dynasty abolished. So already we discussed in 1923, national government signed the Lausanne Treaty with Great Britain, France, Greece, Italy and others. In mid-October, Ankara became the capital of Turkish state. So on October 29, Republic was proclaimed, and Mustafa Kemal Pasha was unanimously elected as President of Republic in 1923. And this is on October 20, 1923. At that time, it was an important date on Turkish history. On that day, Mustafa Kemal Pasha, the liberator of his country, proclaimed the Republic of Turkey. He declared that Turkey's republic, a new form of government, a new homogeneous nation state, stood in sharp contrast to multi-ethnic Ottoman empire, out of whose ashes it arose. So the dynasty and theocratic Ottoman system that was abolished, Sultanate, Khalifa, the titles also came to an end, and Mustafa Kemal Pasha, or Ataturk's Turkey, dedicated itself to the sovereignty of national will and the creation of the state of people. So that is why it is known as republic, a state of people, government by the people. Then he abolished caliphate and made both government and education secular. He introduced several reforms, educational reforms, administrative reforms. He gave equal rights to women. He made several reforms for women empowerment, and he took necessary measures to advance art, science, agriculture and industry. He launched a program of revolutionary and social and political reforms to modernization of Turkey. So these reforms, especially emancipation of women, abolition of all Islamic institutions, and introduction of Western legal codes, introduction of Western dress, calendar, alphabet, replacing Arabic script with the Latin one, all these help to modernize Turkey. Then the Republic of Turkey swiftly moved to put an end to the so-called capitulations. The special rights and privileges were given to the Ottoman dynasty and the successors of rulers, etc. That was abolished. And new Turkey ideology remains Kemalism, that means Mustafa Kemal Pasha, and also Ataturkism, that was also another name for Kemal Pasha. Its basic principles stress republican form of government and representing power of electorate, secular administration, nationalism, mixed economy with state participation in many of the vital sectors, and modernization. So, Ataturk introduced to Turkey the process of parliamentary and participatory democracy, the first Muslim nation to become republic, that is Turkey. So, Turkey served till 1923 it was Muslim state, but it became a republic and a secular state. And Mustafa Kemal Pasha also founded new government. He made some revolutions. 1934 Turkish Grand National Assembly gave him surname Ataturk, that is father of Turks. Then World War I led to collapse of Ottoman Empire. Modern Turkey was founded in 1923 by Mustafa Kemal Pasha, and his reform program Kemalism aimed at secular, modernized, industrialized, westernized Turkey. Then civil law system also derived from various European legal systems. Polygamy was banned. Then new script, Latin alphabet introduced. Then religious schools closed and state government run schools established. Then Gregorian calendar was put into force by replacing Muslim calendar. Then moved traditional Muslim Sabbath day from Friday to Sunday. And women also became empowered. They were able to study. They were able to study at college and universities, and they became doctors, lawyers, scientists. And he also improved the infrastructure of Turkey, built railroads and factories, and invited Western engineers to Turkey to help industrialize the country. He established a secular country, strictly separating religion and state. So he separated religion from state. And here his efforts for modernizing Turkey, that life, that changes in dresses and all we can witness. There was socio-economic development reforms in this period, and so he ruled 15 years as president. Modernization was reached its peak, and he created a new political and legal system. So, as president for 15 years until his death in 1938, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk introduced a broad range of sweeping reforms, swift and sweeping reforms in the political, social, economic and cultural spheres, legal spheres, and that made tremendous changes in Turkey. And his achievements in Turkey are an enduring monument to Ataturk. Emerging nations admire him as pioneer of national liberation. So, the world honored him as a foremost peacemaker who upheld the principles of humanism and vision of united humanity. So, in his program of modernization, secular government and education played a major role. So, making religious faith as a matter of individual conscience, he created truly secular system in Turkey, where vast Muslim majority and small Christian and Jewish minorities are free to practice their faith. As a result of Ataturk's reforms, Turkey has fully become a secular state, and by secularizing all institutions. So, the leader of modern Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Pasha, aspired to freedom and equality for all. So, he proclaimed Turkey as a republic, and he announced that new Turkish state is a state of people and a state by the people, like Abraham Lincoln's quotation, democracy for the people, by the people and of the people. Likewise, Mustafa Kemal Pasha also gave importance to republic and democracy. Having established a populist and egalitarian system, he observed, we are a nation without classes or special privileges. He also stressed the paramount importance of peasants who had been neglected in Ottoman times. The true honor and master of Turkey is a peasant who is a real producer. So, when Turkish Republic came into being in 1923, it lacked capital, industry and technological knowledge. Successive wars had also decimated manpower, and there was a shortage of agriculture production, low level of income, and there was debts. There was serious economic, political, social issues. There was preventions for economic development, but that was changed by Ataturk, and he said, our nation has crushed the enemy forces. To achieve independence, we must observe the following rule. National sovereignty should be supported by financial independence. So, the only power that will propel us to this goal is the economy. No matter how mighty they are, political and military victories cannot endure unless they are crowned by economic triumphs. So, while determination and vigor, Ataturk's Turkey undertook agricultural expansion, industrial growth, technological advancement. In mining also there was development, then transportation, manufacturing, banking. There was tremendous changes in every field: exports, social services, housing, communications, energy, mechanization and other vital areas. So, in every area there was tremendous changes and modernization. So, in 1935 when surnames were introduced in Turkey, Ataturk, that means father of Turkey, that was given to him, and he died in 10th November 1938. Turkey joined in UN in 1945, and in 1952 it became a member of NATO. Under the Truman Doctrine, Turkey received aid from US. In 1949, Turkey became the first predominantly Muslim nation to recognize the state of Israel, ally of US during Cold War, protecting vital Western interests in the Middle East. So, Turkey became the ally of US during Cold War. Turkey joined UN in 1945, and all these things we already discussed. So, after Kemal Pasha's time, what happened? Turkey joined with the US, and Turkey was able to get the support of US economic and military support, and it's continuing now. So, about the dictatorship of Turkey, we have to remember the role played by Mustafa Kemal Pasha. He was the person who did everything for the modernization and westernization of Turkey, and he made Turkey a strong nation.